everyone, it's Ali, and it's time to talk about probably the single best farming strategy that you can possibly do at the start of Necropolis. GGG attempted to kill Essence and Beast farming, and I can tell you that the patent pending Ali strategy will literally never die. This strategy is going to be so immortal that it's basically going to have to be nerfed like Cast on Death was, where they straight up removed the jewel from the game. A lot of people have been saying that, oh, Essence and Beast farming has been killed off and it's not going to be as strong as it has been before. But no, I can tell you that GGG have only buffed the strategy, making it better than before. Not only that, but if you did beast farming back in Crucible, you might remember how insanely overpriced Craigie Chimeras used to be. And I can inform you that, well, they're going to be worth just as much, if not more, this season, as this season is literally looking to be just Crucible, but for every slot in the game. A very quick example that I want to give you that's going to show you exactly why I'm saying that is this helmet that you see right here. This is a helmet that GG have shown us that is possible to craft with the new corpse crafting options that are going to come with Necropolis. The special thing about this helmet is that it has +1 power charge on it that is not from any sort of influence at all. What this means is that I can then go split this helmet to give me a blue helmet with +1 power charge on it. And from that point, I can then use the harvest, synthesize, an item option to bam, synthesize this with Craigie Chimeras, creating an imprint because you can imprint this, meaning I have infinite attempts at synthesizing this until it has 3 synth implicits on it, and then simply go about my way and craft a mirror tier +2 power charge helmet from there, which was never obtainable before. Because of this, we are going to see an explosion in the price of Craigie Chimeras, making this farming strategy substantially better than it has been in previous seasons. Now, before we go any further, I do want to mention one very quick thing. We are going to have to do quite a lot of speculation here, as we do not know what the new scarabs are going to actually do. We do have the names of the scarabs released, so we can do a little bit of informed guessing here on what these scarabs are going to do and which ones we're going to want to include in the strategy. But as soon as we can actually see the tooltips for scarabs, as soon as we know what the scarabs are going to do, I'll have a pinned comment in the comments below that's going to tell you exactly what scarabs are going to want to add into the strategy for our mapping setup. With all that out of the way, why don't we talk about how the strategy actually works? So the whole point of the strategy is going to be doing low tier mapping simply due to just how beast spawning works. The beasts that you're going to see in a given map when Einhar is available in your map are simply going to be based on map tier. And just so happens that the 2 beasts that are actually worth something get added into the beast pool in low tier maps, meaning you never have a reason to actually farm beasts in a tier 16 map, for example, because the amount of garbage beasts that would get added into the pool would massively dilute the chances of you seeing the beasts that are actually worth something. Because of all this, beasts have always been a strategy that you want to farm in tier 4 maps or lower. And because essences do not scale with map tier, and you would have gotten the same exact essences in a tier 1 map that you would in a tier 16 map, meaning the only difference between doing it in a tier 16 map is that the essence monster is basically a raid boss. Essence and beasts have always been a strategy that have been really wonderful to pair together that give you quite a lot of solid money. Unfortunately, this season, this has been nerfed slightly. Essences are now going to scale with map tier, meaning that you're not going to be able to see shrieking essences, which are the highest tier of essences, until you go to yellow maps. This is a little bit of a nerf to the beast portion of this specifically, because this means we're now going to have to do tier 6 and tier 7 maps, which are going to add a few garbage beasts into the pool, but it's not going to be that bad to where it's going to be massively diluted to where we don't see chimeras. The whole goal of the strategy is simply just going to be farming T6 and T7 maps, getting ourselves essences from all the essence monsters, and ideally finding Craigie Chimeras and Plague for Demure Arachnids. Now, to be able to get this farming strategy going, you are going to need to progress all the way up until red maps to actually get all the points that we need. But the powerful thing about this strategy is we do not actually need a full Atlas tree to be able to make this strategy work. We're going to only need about 80 points, and you can get a few more points past this to make this farming strategy a little bit better. What we're going to be doing at the start of a season is just to immediately rush up the middle, ignoring the essence node along the way, to pick up Commission Officer and to pick up Shaping the World. This is going to give you substantially more Kirak missions, which you're going to be able to use to progress your map substantially faster, as Kirak's shop resets every time you do one of his missions, which means he's going to offer you maps that you haven't completed substantially faster, allow you to progress and get all these points that you need and get started the strategy sooner. From there, we're then going to path over to the right to pick up Shaping the Mountains, which is going to give us more map upgrades, meaning we're going to progress faster, as well as going over to the left and getting Shaping the Skies for the same thing. Once you have these 3 nodes, you're pretty much done with all of the mapping related nodes that are going to make your progression faster. And from here, we're going to start picking up nodes that actually do something for us. First off, we are going to go down to Prolific Essence and get this so we always have an essence in every single one of our maps. And then we're going to path up all the way to Amplified Energies, which is going to give us 1 guaranteed max tier essence per essence monster in our maps, meaning this is going to always give us at least 1 shrieking essence per essence monster as soon as we're in yellow maps or higher. From there, we're then going to go over to the left and pick up Crystal Lattice, which is going to give us a chance to have additional essences on monsters, meaning we get more money. And then finally, we're going to come up to Crystal Resonance and pick up both the left and the right side of the cluster without us actually taking the big node, because in my opinion, I feel like Crystal Resonance is just bad and they've completely killed this node entirely. After doing all this, you are now going to be able to get yourself a decent amount of essences while you're progressing, which is going to give you a decent amount of money. From here, we're still going to keep progressing, and we're now going to go down and pick up Eternal Hunt and the node leading past it for Einhar chance. We're then going to go over and get Big Game, which is going to give us more red beasts per map, as well as the 2 Einhar chance nodes here. We're then going to path up to Deadly Prey and pick up the 2 Einhar nodes here without taking Deadly Prey, because in my opinion, this node is bad. Then we're going to go and get ourselves Hunt the Creation and Natural Selection, which is going to give us a substantially higher chance to see Craggy Chimeras. Now, we do not want to take Hunt of Venomous because it's going to dilute the chance of you getting a Craggy Chimera, which is worth the majority of the money in this setup. And then finally, we're going to go up and get ourselves 2 Hearted Hunt, which is going to, in my opinion, be completely cracked. This is going to be a new node that gives you a 50% chance for the beasts that you capture to be special beasts that have a 50% chance to not be consumed when you do a sacrifice, meaning you basically have a 50% chance per chimeral to effectively get 2 chimeras on average, meaning that these special chimeras are going to sell for substantially more money. Once you have all this tree at around 85 points or so, which is going to be somewhere in low red maps, you are ready to immediately start farming the strategy. Now, you can keep progressing a little bit more if you want a few more points. That's going to give you more money. And what I'd recommend for you to do is to potentially pick up Skittering Swarms, to then pick up Painted Carapace and Crystalline Carapaces, and then to finally go get Trapped Carapaces and amplified artifacts. What it's going to do is it's going to make you see substantially more scarabs in all of your maps, as well as massively increasing your chance for Essence, Beyond, and Amber scarabs. And because of all the changes to scarabs this season, we are going to see substantially more scarabs in our maps, meaning that these points might be worth a decent amount of money. Finally, if you want as bonus points, you can then pick up Supplication for a guaranteed shrine every map, and you can pick up Drawn to Power and Synchronism to make the shrine substantially better if your build does want shrines. But again, you do not need the scarab nodes, nor do you need the shrine nodes. You're just going to be extras if you want to make the strategy a bit better. Now that we've gotten all that out of the way, why don't we talk about the setup that we're going to want to do for our maps. As soon as you're ready to start farming the strategy, you are going to want to put the Essence map crafting device on every single map that you're going to do. This is going to cost you 3 Chaos Orbs per map that you do, and it's going to guarantee that there's going to be 2 additional Essence monsters per map, meaning you're going to always see at least 3 Essences per map you do. Because of our Atlas tree, we are also going to have a 100% chance to see Einhar in every single map that we do, which is going to be substantially better than the previous seasons where we had to use an Einhar Scarab to actually see Einhar in our maps, meaning that Einhar is now completely free to run. Now, on top of all this, there's going to be some Scarabs that we're going to potentially want to add. First off, you're going to have the B Series Scarabs of the Herd, which what I am going to speculate this is going to do is it's going to give you substantially more red beasts within a given map, or it's going to either replace some monsters with more beasts, meaning you have a higher chance for red beasts, or it's going to replace some yellow beasts with red beasts, giving you substantially more red beasts in general. I think the B Series Scarab of the Herd is going to be worth considering to run, and assuming it's not worth too much money, and assuming it's doing something that's actually useful, it should be a decent addition to this setup. The B Series Scarab of Duplicating, on the other hand, is most likely just going to do what the old Duplicating Compass did, which it duplicated every single beast you caught within your maps, which typically before was only worth running if you did quite a lot of maps per hour, and typically wasn't worth running if you weren't playing a super fast build. Because of this, it might not be worth considering, but it's all going to be dependent on what the price of it is going to be. As for the new Essence Scarabs, I unfortunately literally cannot tell you what they do because the names of these Scarabs are just kind of useless and they're kind of hard to tell what they do. I can't really tell you what Ascent, Stability, and Calcification do, but I'm going to take a stab that Stability most likely might be the old Crystal Resonance, which used to duplicate all essences on a monster, assuming it had a Shrieking Essence on it, as the old Crystal Resonance did not automatically release the essence monsters when you corrupted them, and Stability kind of sounds like it would stabilize the essence, which means it doesn't get released when you corrupt it potentially. The default Essence Scarab, we can speculate that's going to give you at least an additional essence per map, meaning you're going to always want to run at least an Essence Scarab in the strategy. This means that the TLDR setup is most likely going to be Essence from the map crafting device, as well as a Essence Scarab on every single map you want to do, potentially a Stability Scarab, and then you're going to also want to run a B Series Scarab of the Herd, which is most likely going to give you more red beasts in each map. From here, your mapping strategy is going to be very simple. You're simply just going to want to walk through the maps and open up all the Essence monsters as you see, and you're going to want to use Remnants of Corruption, which are going to be things that are going to passively be gaining from essences to corrupt your essences into different outcomes. The TLDR of how you're going to want to use these Remnants of Corruption is going to be very simple. You're going to want to corrupt all 4 of the purple essences every time you see them. That is going to be Scorn, Envy, Misery, and Dread. Every single time you see these 4 purple essences, you're going to want to corrupt them in hopes that they are going to corrupt into one of the 4 corruption-only essences, which are typically worth quite a lot of money. Outside of this, the other essences you're going to be on the lookout for to use a Remnant Corruption are going to be any sort of Essence of Loathing that you see. These are going to be the Reservation Efficiency essences, which are always in high demand, and if you end up upgrading this to Deafening, it's going to be worth quite a lot of money. And finally, you're also going to want to corrupt a sort of green essences you see as the life essences are worth quite a lot of money at the start of a season. If you don't want to remember all this, in the description below, there will be a little bit of text that's going to TLDR this for you so you don't have to remember it. Now, in terms of the beasts, they are going to be very simple to deal with as well. All you want to do for the beasts is simply just ignore every single yellow beast that you see, as they're just a waste of your time. And you're simply going to want to look at every single red beast as your map, and you just want to look at the model of the beast itself. What we're on the lookout for here are specifically going to be Craigie Chimeros, which are a big blue frog-looking monster, as well as plagued phenomenal arachnids, which are really big black spiders that are very remnants of the delve spiders, if you know what delve spiders look like. Every other red beast except Craigie Chimeros and plagued phenomenal arachnids are a complete waste of your time and just can be completely skipped. This is going to be something that's going to take you a little bit to get used to, and I put a picture of both these here on screen, and if you want to use this as a visual cue for what the monsters are going to look like, they're going to somewhat resemble these pictures. Now, the reason we're skipping every single beast except these two specifically is because everything else is just not worth anything. The Craigie Chimero is going to be where most of the money from the beast is going to come from, while the plagued phenomenal arachnid, which is just going to be a nice little bit of bonus money on top of the Chimeros, but the Chimeros is where the majority of the money from the beast actually come from. Now, in terms of the maps that we're going to want to run for this, I cannot tell you exactly which maps you want to run, as we do not know which maps are going to be next to each other, but we do have all the map data, meaning we do know which maps are going to be in what tier. No matter what, you are going to always want to do at least a tier 6 or higher map, because we need to do yellow maps specifically, but you do not want to push into too high of a yellow map, which is going to add more garbage red beasts in the pool, massively diluting the chance of you getting Chimero. What I would recommend for you to farm is going to specifically be Promenade, Tower, Silo, or Waste Pool, as these are all very nice layouts that allow you to very quickly check the whole map to make sure you're not missing any sort of yellow beast or essence that might spawn in a corner somewhere, while at the same time having very good layouts which are very linear and very simple to get through that are not going to waste your time. Ideally, I would recommend you might want to farm Tower specifically if you can, as Tower is going to have the nurse card in it, which might be a really nice payout if you do end up getting lucky and getting yourself one, although it's going to be pretty rare, and I would say you might see one every 100 maps or so, which is not going to be the greatest of odds, but given that it's going to be a pretty fast farming strategy, you will see a few here and there. But if you're not a fan of Tower, I would recommend Silo as the next best one, as it's just a linear map, which makes it very, very simple to see everything inside the map. Now, next thing we should go over is to talk about how you'd actually go about cashing out once you are ready to sell your things. The first thing we should mention is how to actually deal with Bestiary. What you're going to want to do is to come over to Menagerie and talk to Einhar. Einhar is going to be able to sell you Bestiary orbs, which is going to be used to itemize beasts, which is going to allow you to actually sell them to other players. All you're going to want to do is simply just hit H, which is going to open up the Challenges tab, and then you're going to go over to the Bestiary tab and click on the Captured Beast button. You're then going to be pasting this specific regex into Filter Beast Search at the bottom, which will be linked in the description below, that is going to specifically only show you the beasts that you're actually wanting to sell. This is going to specifically show you Craigie Chimeros and Phenomenal Plagued Arachnids, which are going to be the majority of the money, but it's going to also show you Ferric Lynx Alphas and Ferric Wolf Alphas, which are also sometimes worth about 5 to 10 chaos, which you can sell if you want to. All you're going to have to do is simply just right click with your Bestiary orb, and then simply just click on the beast that you're going to want to store, and then that's going to give you an item they can sell to other people for money. Once you have collected all the beasts out of here that you actually want to bottle up and sell, all you're going to do is simply just close the filter, and then you're going to go to the top, and you're going to simply hover over the top left release X icon, and then you're going to simply spam click while at the same time spamming enter. What this is going to allow you to do is to mass delete all the beasts in your menagerie, as you need to clean out your menagerie every once in a while, simply because the menagerie has a limit of 1,000 total beasts inside of it. Once you reach 1,000 beasts, you're going to get a chat message in chat every single time you are going to be earning a new beast, which is going to specifically tell you a beast has been captured, a beast has been deleted. You want to stop mapping immediately as soon as you see this, and you want to go and clean out your menagerie, because this deletion is completely random, which means if you have chimeros in there, this could potentially just delete your chimeros out of nowhere. Unfortunately, there's no better way of cleaning a menagerie than sitting here and spamming click and spamming enter, and this is going to be a slight downside of this farm that you're only going to have to do about every 100 to 200 maps or so, as assuming you don't kill too many yellow beasts and red beasts that aren't the ones you want to kill, your menagerie shouldn't fill up too fast. As for your essences, they're going to be very simple to deal with as well. All we're going to want to do is simply just click the upgrade button at the bottom, and we're going to want to upgrade every single essence all the way up to Shrieking. You do not want to upgrade your essences to Deafening, as Deafening essences typically are worth a little bit less money, and only some Deafening essences are actually worth more than 3 Shrieking essences. These are going to be things you're going to have to look into yourself to see what the price are going to be like, but as a general strategy, you simply just want to leave everything as a Shrieking essence, and then you're simply just going to want to sell your essences Shrieking, which is going to give you the largest amount of money. The beautiful thing about all this is that it's going to be very simple to actually sell all the items that you're going to be getting from the strategy. You're not going to be getting that many beasts, which should mean it should be fairly simple for you to be able to sell 1 to 2 chimeras at once. And the nice thing about chimeras is the more you have of them, the more you can sell them for. Now, what I would recommend is for you to not sell your chimeras for the first few days this season. Chimeras only start going up in price when mirror crafting starts to be accomplished, meaning that chimeras very heavily spike at the end of week 2 and at the start of week 3. Meaning, if you are okay with it, what I'd highly recommend is to just save your chimeras as a medium-term investment and then just hold on to them for about a week or so and then sell them for basically triple to quadruple the value that you get for them during week 1. Now, if you do need to fund a big upgrade, obviously go and sell your chimeras. Don't hold on to them if you really need the money. But if you don't immediately need the money, they are going to be a very powerful investment for the first week or so of the season. For essences, they're going to be very simple to sell. All you're going to want to do is simply just come over to PoE Stack and then simply just set up your account to be connected with it. And then simply just use the bulk TFT tool to list all of your essences onto TFT, which is going to make it very easy for you to sell them all in bulk. Now, I can't tell you the exact price you'd want to sell them at, as the price of essences is going to change quite a bit. But typically, you're able to get anywhere between 90 to 110% of PoE Ninja price, depending on how the season goes. There's going to be something that you're going to have to play around with the price a little bit to see if people message you for them. But the beautiful thing about the PoE Stack tool is as soon as you post them, somebody's simply just going to come to you and they're simply just going to buy all the essences from you at once. When listing essences on PoE Stack, you specifically want to select the Essence High option. You do not want to select the normal essence option, as literally nobody will message you. That's going to include all essences below Shrieking, which is something people don't want, as the price of them is always incorrect and they're just absolutely useless. And with all this put together, this should mean that essences and beasts should be a substantially better strategy this season than in previous seasons. Not only do we not need to use a Einhar Scarab anymore, meaning it's going to be substantially cheaper to run the strategy in the first few days of the season, but at the same time, essences themselves should be worth more money, because I think there's going to be less people farming essences due to them thinking they're going to be worse. And with the new node that gives you a 50% chance to effectively get 2 chimeras at once, I think the price of chimeras is going to be substantially higher than any other season before, when added on top of the new corpse crafting feature, which is going to be a main focus of Necropolis, allowing for people to make some pretty cracked gear. If you have any questions on any of this, feel free to leave a question in the comments below and I'll be more than happy to help you as soon as I can. You'd also come by Twitch and ask me any questions there. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you live. And at the same time, if you simply just want to come be a part of a community, I'm more than happy to see you there with all the other cuties. With all that said, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next video.